Welcome to Talk to Me. I'm your host, Brenda Warren, the Soulutionist. I help people turn their mess or their mission into a message for the masses. And today I'm delighted to have a very special guest that I think you'll be delighted to hear from. If you ever walked into a room in your house and became anxious, or went to a friend's house and thought, man, I wish I was as organized as she is, or maybe you have a dresser full of clothes that never make it into the drawer, then today's guest, Miss Melissa Stecher, is who you need to listen to. She is the owner and creator of Hopeful Simplicity. It stresses a lifestyle that is centered around organizing. Melissa and her crew work to shift the overwhelm of "it's all on me" toward a home team we. When it comes to home management, Melissa is the lady to call. They tackle one small space at a time in just 15 minutes a day, y'all. And along a hopeful journey, you get to save time, save money, and embrace a less stressful way of living. Melissa, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm great, Brenda. How are you?
I'm excited because I need you. I am like so cluttered and unorganized with paper everywhere, and I'm so glad you can't see it. But when I went on your site, I was so excited to see your blog with all the helpful tips and hints on how I can become organized even in the chaos that I call my house. So I was wondering if you could tell me, first of all, what got you into wanting to help people live a hopefully simplistic life in organizing?
Well, it started by living it.
Okay.
I was sent over the edge of my own calm by asked, "What's for dinner?" I no longer wanted to care. I was angry. I was resentful. I was like, why do I have to be in charge of everything all the time? All the people, all the places, all the things, and tell you what you want to eat. So once I realized that I was done sitting in the suck of home management alone, and we started shifting it towards, my son is just as responsible as I am, right? Anybody that comes in the house is just as responsible as I am because it is a team.
Mm-hmm.
Then I talked to other moms that were like, "What do you mean your son does his own laundry? Well, how do I get my kid to do that? What do you mean your partner helps plan dinners? How do I get my husband to do that?" So once I traveled that journey toward less stress, and I started talking to my friends and my mom groups and all those things, I realized I wasn't alone. And I realized I had a solution to help people just like me. Just to and the focus of that being just like me is I work for a living. I run a business. I'm a mom of an active child. I don't have, the week to block out schedules to organize and clean my house. I don't have like, did I sit down today? No, it's 10 o'clock at night. I forgot. Did I eat dinner? Did you eat dinner? Or where are we? Right. So focusing that on what can we actually realistically manage was a majorly key aspect of that journey, because shifting your mindset is a major part of a hopeful journey. I don't want to be like, yes, I'm going to get it all organized. It's going to happen today. And tomorrow we're going to be better. And then I'm disappointed tomorrow because it didn't all happen today. And then helping people live through the crap I already experienced. Cool. Here's your tools. Let's have everybody be less stressed. So that's kind of how it all started. Is I lived through it and I realized I wasn't the only one doing it.
Now that's the part when I looked at your different blogs, I saw one thing that really excited me. Well, actually, there were lots of things that excited me, but one of the things, you had a blog about micro and macro tidying up, basically. And I'm not sure, I don't remember the exact title other than the micro and macro. And you talked about how you could have the little ways of doing things and then the big ways of storing things. And I thought that would have been really good for me the past week when I was trying to get rid of some of this junk in this house. But after I read the article, I felt better. I actually felt hopeful, Melissa, because I was like, I'm overwhelmed. There's so much clutter. And I was like, but where do I start, Melissa? And you had a blog thing about where do you start? So I read it. So my question is, how did you even start blogging about this, and how did you find the time? I mean, you're saying be hopefully simplistic, but everything that I see you doing just doesn't seem simple in the sense that how have you been able to manage all of this and still help people like me?
This is how. This is called coffee. And how we do it. So I am very hard on myself for boundaries and schedules. If it's on my schedule, I do my best to hold true to my schedule.
Okay.
So that hour I have chunked out for my administration time is productively doing that. So everything falls into that schedule. So I have time to write a blog. I have time to write my newsletters that are tied to those blogs. I have time to schedule out 2 weeks of social postings. And so I'm a big fan of tools. If there is a tool and I can get that tool for free, extra bonus, right? I'm going to use it. Even if it takes me a little longer to learn it, I'm going to use it because then I can set those boundaries. I can set the batch scheduling and I can still maintain free time to hang out with my kid. Now, sometimes, life happens. Sometimes you get behind, but knowing my practices and having that actual shift of accountability and self-responsibility let me be okay with the days I don't get productive. The days I'm just like, I really just need to be human with other humans today, or I just need to be human and take a moment for myself. That's okay. And that is a major thing. That's kind of how I do it all. But at the same time, I don't do it all. Right. My son cooks at least once a week on his own.
Wow.
There's an hour I just made on my own. Okay. Right? My son does his own laundry. There's 5 steps I don't have to do.
Okay. That makes sense.
Really, really shifting toward a team, whether it's home or in the office. Like if I had a team in an office building, I'm going to use my team. These are my tools in place to succeed and lessen that load. So I actually have time to, do whatever I need to do. And sometimes that's, sit down and do nothing.
But I think that's one of the things I liked when I read through your articles. I felt like you weren't telling me I had to be superwoman, and you gave me realistic steps to finding how I organize, not the way Melissa wants to organize, but in your articles, even I could tell you were telling me I needed to have a system that worked for me. Yeah. That really appealed to me when I read the things on your blog.
Good. I'm glad. I mean, to me, it's very important. If I don't give you the tools to have your own hopeful journey and live your own journey toward less stress, then I'm doing you a disservice. And that is not hopeful at all. That's not business.
Now, when you work with people, do you work with people one-on-one, or do you do groups, or both?
Yes. So I will do group, like organizing 101 series. Okay. And that's basically, hey, let's get together at the library or a local church or this type of setup. We're going to have an event online. Okay. And we're going to cover the basics of, these are the organizing styles we teach. These are the problems we like to tackle in our teachings. And this is the result of that. So like the organizing styles, macro, micro, visual, non-visual, and then the concepts of shifting toward that team success instead of it's all on me. So I teach 101 classes, but I do one-on-one and group sessions as well. So if I'm working with a homeowner, I will meet with the homeowner one-on-one to be like, okay, are we ready to work? Are you familiar with what we do? Give me an idea of the space you want to tackle and who's going to be in the space. But then when we actually work, I work with everybody in the home. So then I'm enforcing the concept. So if I'm coming to your house to help you in the kitchen, we're going to talk to everybody that uses the kitchen. Okay. Because everybody's going to start maintaining and managing the kitchen, not just mom anymore, right? Okay. Not just the adult in the house. So we're going to talk to everybody and we're going to be like, okay, what is the simplest style to organize toward? And then we're going to focus on that person's style. because
Okay.
I'm a very detailed organizer, regardless of my pop craziness. I'm
Mhm.
very detailed. You open one of my drawers and it is like everything is folded and everything has a little home. But if
Okay.
I ask someone else in the house, that's a different organizing style for me to maintain that, it's never going to happen.
Right.
So we work with the whole home team when I work with families in their environment. So yes, one-on-one and everybody all at the
Mhm.
same time.
Now, is it a challenge when you have people with opposite organizing styles? Because, like, Alex and I have discovered, Alex likes everything out where they can see it. I like everything put away. So
Yes.
there's that constant battle with how things are because I'm like, pick it up and put it in this place. And Alex is like, leave it there. I need to see it.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It is a constant battle and it is a hard talk about control.
Mm.
For me, I don't like to see it, but I like it when the peanut butter makes it back in the jar into the counter, like into the container, more than I like nagging you repeatedly. So it is a control shift and it's a hard conversation because I'm sorry, Miss Brenda, but we have to go with the visual organizer. As much, and that drives me crazy.
Drives me
Unless,
crazy.
unless it's something I love, unless it's my pops or books,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna go in a drawer and behind a door.
Okay.
But the flip side of that, it's gonna cause someone else anxiety.
Yes, it does.
It's gonna freak if I don't see it, I don't have it. And then guess what? If you didn't see it and you still need it, you're gonna go out and buy it again.
Okay. That
Nobody
makes
wants to
sense.
waste that money.
Mm-mm.
Because then now you have two things sitting on the shelf that you're gonna see that they don't want to see. That so we're going to compromise in the compromise areas.
Okay.
And that's the key when it's visual versus non-visual. Hi, I'm non-visual. Have we met?
Mhm.
I have to give to the visual. There are ways to, I want to say, visually trick your mind.
Mhm.
So not every container has to be clear, but sometimes you do a basket weave container. So then you can still visually see that there's stuff in there. I know there's stuff in there.
Yeah.
Or there's not a lid, so I can see easily what's in there.
Okay.
But then you can get all the pretty, more solid looking containers to kind of help calm your crazy. Another major solution for visual, if you have a solid container that you say you put remotes in a
Mhm.
solid container, get a
Mhm.
really pretty big label. Even a
Okay.
picture label is brilliant. Picture labels are great for kids because they don't have to think about it. They don't have to tend that
Mhm.
1 second reading.
Mhm.
Be like, "Ooh, shiny! It's big and colorful, and I know the buttons go there."
Mhm.
And so that's a really good compromise in common areas is to get the baskets that you work, but support the visual needs to lessen their anxiety, but also to, visually remind them this is where it goes. Let me move it slowly from getting it shelved to into the container.
Okay. Now, when you work with those compromises, are people like me that want everything put away the harder challenge in families than the ones that like the visual? For those of you that cannot see, Melissa is shaking her head like, Brenda?
I'm going to
No.
say yes and no because I am
Okay.
like you.
Okay. I want it gone.
I mean, I'm not difficult at all. But
What? I've never had anybody say I was
what?
difficult to my
I'm not.
face.
I'm not controlling. And why can't you just do it my way? Because my way is obviously the right way. I mean, hello,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
We are and we aren't. It
Mhm.
depends on how long somebody's been in the habits of. So I was definitely the more difficult to deal with when shifting because I'm a control freak. I am a recovering perfectionist, as I like to say.
No, say it isn't so.
Right? But it's okay. And so for me to let go of that control, it's to not just make everything right and perfect like it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
I was definitely the more difficult.
Okay.
Now, the visual person could be more difficult if they have had years and years and years and years and years of habit of just setting it on the shelf next to the container it goes in.
Okay.
Because shifting a habit is hard work. And unless you're swapping it for a better habit, it's even harder.
I can see why Alex and I have such challenges, because I would dare say I'm Brenda. I'm a control freak. I'm going to own that. Yes, and flip the hair. Flip the hair. Which is why it was so, when Alex went away to college before the pandemic totally ruined my life and brought them back. Not that I don't love my kid, but it was like everything was in its place. Mm-hmm. Everything was gone. And then Alex returned, and I call it Hurricane Alex, came back to the house. And it was just such a disconnect and a struggle for us. So this is a subject that hits very close to home. So let's just say that you've gotten there to the house of, like, say, a house like mine, where you have the battle of the clutter. What is one of the first suggestions you would make for a team like Alex and I, since now it has to be team us instead of team contention?
Right? Instead of team correct, because Brenda's always right. Yeah. I would talk to you both.
Okay.
So the conversation would probably be more closer to the concept of, Alex, what is your goal for this space? Because as it is, it's not working. This is what Brenda would like. Mm-hmm. What do we have to get to have you succeed? Like, Alex, if I brought a container with no lid that looked like, do you think over the next couple of days, you can make a conscious effort to make sure that goes in the container? Now, Alex is going to say yes, because I am fun-sized and snarky. Then I will be like, well, Brenda, do you think over the next few days, can you support Alex to try to help manage this compromised system? Brenda, can you do this by saying, you know what, I appreciate you, trying to help us shift into a less stress lifestyle together. Thank you for unloading that. But next time, can you try to put it in the container? Instead of, why can't you just put it where it goes? It's right there. The container is right there.
Why are you all in my Kool-Aid? Because I do that.
Right? So
it's not a hard concept. The container's right there. Okay. Right? Yes, yeah. I've done that.
And you'd be like, it's labeled. Come on. In the hole. And then you'll be like, in the thing. Yeah.
Look, I not only have said that, I've done that with those hand gestures, because I'm so frustrated that everything is not put back in its place. I'm that one that has like a pegboard with the outline of where things go.
Yep. And that is way too advanced for Alex.
Yeah.
We have to shift away from the micro. As much as I love it, I would have a container inside containers. They would all have lids. They would all be
messy. Hang out. We could all be
labeled, right?
Okay. Okay.
And I would just be like, right? It's just look at the inside. But then you have the Alexes of the world, and I'm so sorry, Alex, I don't even know you yet. Mm-hmm. But they need done. I need to pull the car in and be done. Or I'm like, no, I'm going to back the car in. I'm going to take 30 extra seconds to put it away right. Yeah. Or they're going to take 30 extra seconds to dig through the pile and find it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. You know us. Say you know us already. Now, when you as you find your different clients, and maybe people aren't as extreme as Alex and I, but when you find maybe a young mother that has maybe not kids that are old enough, is there a certain age when you say kids can do their laundry or pick up after themselves? Because I just remember Alex has never wanted to pick up after themselves. However, Alex has been doing laundry since they were 10. That was one of the things we had. No, because I was like, I'm not doing it. You're big enough. But there were other things where no matter how much I pushed, prodded, it just wasn't happening because their little brain did not work like that.
Yeah. So I'm a big supporter of, if they are old enough to follow you around,
okay,
they are old enough to mimic what you're doing.
Okay.
So if you've got a toddler or a newborn, or you're just going to sit in it and whatever you got done, good job, mama.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're just going to be like, yes, I got 5 whole seconds to shower in cold water and find my coffee today. You did amazing.
Amazing. There you go.
That's your focus. You're not in the journey to let's stay on that organizing journey. You're in the what is that smell journey? And did we wash the bottles? And where did I put your blankets? Those journeys.
Gotcha.
So that is where you are. But if you have a toddler that's following you around, they've got their little broom, or right, they're using something like the phone because that's what's mommy using, things like that. Set it up for them.
Okay.
Toddler dishes are plastic. Put it in a low cabinet. That way, when you take your plate to the sink, right, you'll get them out of the chair, you'll hand them their plate, and then you both take your plates to the sink. Right? And then they have a home set up for them. So even if it's not right, even if it's just, a dishwashing pan under the sink, and they could throw their plastic in to start with.
Got it.
They're already associating, I'm seeing them do that. Ooh, look what I can do. And then you got to make a big deal out of it, regardless of their age. Even for Alex, you got to be like, dude, thank you so much for doing that.
I got you.
Because nobody's going to be thanking you, but over time, they'll be like, yes. Oh, they really liked it when I did that. So they're going to want to do more.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But you have to set it up. Like a toddler's not going to put their plate up with the dishes, right? They're going to put their dish away at their dishes.
Their dishes, right. Now, I did do that when Alex was little, and we used to have the cleanup game. So I did know to do that. But even with the cleanup game, if I wasn't like right there, Alex's way of processing, it was just scattered because everything had to be out and be seen. And it wasn't until I realized Alex's style that I literally got rid of furniture out of Alex's room and got bins and clear containers. And all of a sudden, stuff was picked up off the floor because Alex could see it. And it was a lot less stress for both of us. I'm sad to say I didn't figure that out till maybe Alex was maybe about 15, 16. But once we got rid of the furniture and did that and changed what we had in there, when I say furniture, the traditional dresser did not work. Yeah. But bins were golden.
Yep. And that's all it takes for people to be like, all right, this is clearly not working to my comprehension of what should work. What would work? Yeah. And I think people lack the languages or the self-permission to go, okay, but what would work for you? Yeah.
And I think the other thing we did that made us hopeful, Melissa, and your blog reinforced that I was on the right path for us. I mean, literally, I could almost cry thinking about it now after I read one of your articles, because I started organizing my house the way I live, not the way I think it should be. Yeah. And I don't remember exactly which one, but I kind of like, once I got to that point in your book, I binge read everything you wrote. Because that one thing was like giving me keys to the kingdom, because although, there was a time we had like kids running in and out of the house, but at 20 years old, we don't have that. So the family room and a living room is not necessary for Alex and I anymore. So we're going to turn the family room into Alex's art studio, and we'll keep the living room for when we have guests. So just doing something simple like that, because your article basically gave me permission to use my house the way I live, not the way I think it should be set up, because they say this is a family room. Yeah. And so, those are the things that I'm saying when you're working with clients. I know it's in your article, but how hard is it for you to get somebody to say, hey, I'm here because what's working isn't working, or what you thought was is not. And it's okay to think outside the box and really use your house the way it lived. How hard was that for you to convince other women? It is hard. It is. And we get stuck in this is how it's always been. This is how it should be. But it's not serving you. And so, I mean, I remember
years ago when I started more one-on-one organizing with clients, that's when I started vetting my customers, because I would go and they weren't ready to embrace the concept of something that may work differently.
Okay.
And so having that conversation it is a hard one, and it is an important one, because if you aren't open to trying to see a different system that may or may work, if you're in the mindset of I've already tried everything, this is never going to work, then that's cool. Let me know when you're ready to. And that is a key element to a hopeful lifestyle, is you're to that point of you're like, I've already tried everything, there's no hope left. And I'm like, yeah, let's try this.
Melissa.
Yeah. But a lot of people, I bring you inside our crazy, because I think if you know our kind of crazy, they were like, okay, well, maybe it will work. Right. And it's just one little thing. Okay, what's bothering you the most? Oh, the fact that your teenager doesn't do their own laundry yet. Okay, well, let's talk about that first. And so then we do have those talks. I understand that this is the image in your head. This is what the market tells you should do because this is going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly that doesn't work. So would you be open to trying this instead?
Yeah. That makes sense to me. I think one of the things, I keep referring back to your articles because I really did binge them because I'm going through a declutter massively myself. And I think what I loved about reading your articles, like you said, you bring us into your crazy. But while I was reading, I saw your sense of humor. I saw sister friend. I saw help. I saw a counselor. Sometimes I felt like you were a priest. And I thought, boy, I don't know what all was intended in here, but I went through a whole range of emotions just reading the articles. But what I left with was that sense of hope that I too could have a home I was proud of, that could be organized, and that there was a simpler way of doing things than the way I had previously done them in the past. So I want to say, for my own, just reading your articles, I want to thank you for that, because I had hit that overwhelmed, overloaded, cluttered house that made me want to scream on a regular basis.
Right? Just put it in the box.
Yeah, really. It doesn't really matter anymore. Just like you said, just put the lid on it. I don't care if this mayonnaise all on the outside of the jar at this point. Whatever. But now that you're years into this process, and you've established your system of vetting people and how you work with people, what advice would you give your younger self about what you do right now?
I think for my younger self, and now my, more finer self, the best advice that I ever picked up and that I would relay is, their opinion is none of your business. Just do you.
I like that. Just do you.
Do you, boo. Do you.
Do you, boo. I like that. I'm gonna remember that one for today. Do you, boo. Okay, now for a mom that's out there that is struggling with her organizational skills, and she hasn't had the benefit of reading your article but would love to, how does she get in touch with you?
Everything is on hopefulsimplicity.com. That's our website. So it's got all of our where to find us, how to find us, and what to read.
And that's also how they can get in touch if they want to have you come to their home?
Yep, our calendar's on there for scheduling as well.
And where are you located in the country, and do you travel?
I do travel as long as I know someone and we're vetted, because I'm not going to travel far. I am in Indiana currently, but I do a lot of virtual sessions as well.
Okay. That's cool to know you could do a virtual session. See, ladies, there's hope for you even if you're in the Philippines. So if you need some help, there you go. Melissa, how has what you're doing right now helped you live your best life now?
I am happier and hopeful, and I am no longer coming home resentful and angry and just frustrated. So I get to be happy and hopeful all the time.
That's good. All right. Well, Melissa, it's been wonderful talking to you about hopeful simplicity. And I'm so excited because anytime I get to talk to a woman business owner that also created her own way of doing things, I am thrilled. And I hope you'll stand by with me now while I thank a veteran. If there's any of you that are watching today was ever wanting to thank a veteran, I have the thing for you. Won't cost you a dime, just a little bit of time. Go to www.nevcc.org/projects. The website is above my head. You can see it right there. And go look at the basket brigade. There you'll find 12 writing prompts, one for every month of the year. You can do one or you can do all 12. The more the merrier. Just thank everybody. You can write a word, a sentence, a paragraph, whatever you would like to say. And what will happen with all your wonderful gratitude is at the end of the year, Lisa Deschorme, the executive director of the New England Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and her staff will gather all those wonderful thank yous together and put them in a beautifully illustrated book that will then be placed in a basket full of goodies. And some lucky veterans will receive those baskets on the 1st of January, 2022. So if you'd like to be a part of the Basket Brigade and thank a veteran, go to www.nevcc.org/projects. And if you are ready to tap into organization and be hopefully simplistic, or excuse me, hopefully simply. Now I can't even say it now. If you'd like to develop your hopeful simplicity, there you go. I get it right in a minute. Then I want you to tap in. And how do you do that? First of all, you transform the way you think about clutter. It's all about mindset, y'all. Then I want you to announce to the world, I am getting rid of all of this crap because Melissa says I don't have to live that way. And then you know what you're going to do? You're going to call Melissa because she's going to hold you accountable and show you the tools and give you the tools to have a amazing clutter-free or organized journey that will reduce your stress. Then you're going to prepare yourself for that because you already said you better get everybody in the family ready to make that mindset shift with you so that y'all can have a good, clean, clear environment. And then I want you to imagine what your world is going to look like once Melissa comes in and brings all her hopefulness to reduce your stress, help you save time, and live a less stressful life in a less stressful environment. And then once Melissa has created her magic for you, you're going to nurture all the information that she gave you, and you are going to have your own hopeful simplicity, remembering that it was all possible because this beautiful woman came into your life and gave you a sense of hope that you didn't even know you needed. So that's what we're going to ask you to do. And with that thought, Melissa, do you have any closing thoughts for the audience?
Always stay hopeful.
There you go. With that, I want to remind everyone to remember the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. Choose wisely. Be blessed, everyone, and stay hopeful.